Hello comrades, yes comrades, it's me, I'm back, Yorkshireman now living in Wales, and today comrades I'm going to cover a reply I got to a letter I sent to my 5 members of the Senedd. And I sent the letter in October, and only now have I sort of got a reply. Give or take a few weeks, it's taken them about, let's see, 3 months? Yep, only 3 months, I would have thought that then. Right. Now, 3 of my members of the Senedd have basically taken to ignoring me, which is like not very democratic. One of them does a half a reply, but Jane Dodds is the only person, member of the Senedd, who sort of takes her role seriously and willing to put herself out and do what I consider to be a job. So she sent my letter to the Welsh Government. So I've got a reply from Rebecca Evans, and as you can see, there it is, Cabinet Secretary for stuff. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to put some of the bits of the letter up, but I will put my letter at the very end so you can see what I actually asked. Right then, so the first thing was about 20 miles an hour, and as you can see here, she says, hey, it was done with a democratic process, and they also did a listening programme. Right then, so let's consider those 2 things. So they imposed on it. They made a blanket imposition on all the roads. They covered it in a nice blanket. Whether or not that was a Welsh blanket, I'm not sure. Bottom line is 500,000 people signed a petition and said no. Even now, to date, people are still saying we don't want it. Why is that, they're thinking? Because it don't make any sense. People get fines and that's making them poor for doing over 20 miles an hour. Right. Also what happened, and I remember because I've seen it all, is that they called us uneducated and that we didn't understand, and that maybe, just slightly maybe, they got it wrong in the way they presented it. Anyway, now what have they done? They've devolved it all to the local authorities, and they've said we get in touch with them now. Of course, the local authorities are not helping us at all, and the processes are very difficult to get anything changed, or even those words, common sense. Don't forget, the local authorities still work for you and they work for me, so we need to change that. So what we'll see already is she's still happy with it. I'm not happy with it. Many people are not happy with 20 mile an hour. Right, the next thing was net zero policies and increased energy costs. So a couple of things which struck me here is she goes on to say it's following the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. Right, I'll stop there. History, and this is short history, says that they declared, all the governments in the world declared climate emergency. We were not asked about it, so it wasn't democratic at all. The only 2 things in this sort of Welsh government they have with democracy and dictatorship is they both start with a D. Now then, because of this climate emergency thing, all our energy costs went up. Yes, they put extra money on our bills without even asking us. But then what happened is all our living costs went up. Every single thing went up. And then of course after that, then Russia invaded Ukraine. Now, could that be solved sooner? I believe it could have been solved a lot sooner. I have a very particular thing on war. I'm not keen on it for some reason. And if there's an alternative to getting a solution in place, I'd say try harder. Right. Now, what about net zero? I've covered this already. For some reason, they're still throwing £2 billion at it, despite the fact they don't have a plan and they don't understand about air. Yes, their words, not mine. Right, we then go down to the bottom paragraph here, which they're saying that they're going to cut your energy costs. Right, and what they're going to do is give you insulation and stuff like that. It says there. Now, being a householder and being an old person, I've had many different houses. I've had some mostly old second-hand houses, yes. And what you'll find is you can do so much insulation, so much filling of gaps in the windows, so much double glazing. Bottom line is your house is always going to be cold if it's cold outside. And all what happens is you can spend a little bit of money on insulation and it'll make a little difference, but if your energy costs are still going up and up and up as they are, it don't make any difference. Because you're thinking, oh well, I've saved 20 quid this month. No, you haven't, because next month your energy cost has gone up 40 quid and then it goes up again and again. So really it's just like it's a pointless exercise, and I'm going to guess most people have accessed all this already. So I'm guessing the stats would show not many people need it now. Right, allocation of public funds. Now it says here, there's a blue arrow, the Welsh Government has a duty to protect public funds. Right then, let me stop you there. One of the Welsh First Ministers many years ago said we cannot keep giving money to charities at the rate we're doing because it will make us bankrupt, quote unquote. Currently, the level of giving to charities is £500 million. Right, there you go. And you're not protecting the funds because all these charities are unaccountable to the public. I've tried to hold them to account. It's impossible because they're a charity. So what you need to do is stop spending that money, giving our money to charities. What you need to do is ask us first and see how we feel about it. That's democracy in action. The other thing is I mentioned about the health service, and I think I said, yeah, it is rational NHS service. And interestingly enough, look at the blue line, they're saying it's down to local health boards. Are responsible for planning and delivering health. Well, I'll stop you there again. Now then, let's consider this. So who funds it all and who's responsible for it all and who sets out the different policies? The Welsh Government, right. So what they're trying to do is say nothing to see here, nothing to do with us. So if that's the case then, why do you employ lots of civil servants and lots of people sat on boards to try and manage it all on behalf of the Welsh Government? Yeah, explain that to me. Because if it were true, you would just devolve everything to the local health boards. You'd say, work your plan out and get on with it. But no, again, you're doing this nothing to do with us, like a 20 miles an hour thing. So again, I don't believe any of it at all. Right, so then we come over free speech, because that's a concern for me. And what it says, and this does make me laugh, it starts off by saying that Senedd is a place where members are free to express their views. Right, okay. And then it goes on where the blue line is, many disagreements do not erode members' freedom to express their views. Right, okay. Now then, let's consider this. You can go back to the slide if you wish. Well, they can't say blanket, which is really sort of childish, isn't it? You can't say a blanket. But then we come to the more serious stuff where the latest one is that leader of the Tories raised up the issue of the grooming gangs and told by the Senedd to tone it down. Right. Now that's outrageous when you think about it, because facts are facts. And there's a little bit more where, you know, this will upset people. Well, to be honest, what's going on is extremely upsetting. And the fact is that you're saying you don't want to hear it is outrageous. So, again, we have no free speech. It's as simple as that, because even within the Senedd, is stopping them express their views which describe an actual situation as it's happening. I mean, you just can't believe it, can you? So you're not taking things seriously, and then you're willing to censor people over the use of a word blanket. I mean, seriously? It's just madness, to be honest. And then this bit about future policy goals and their implications, bit of an odd one, this. And again, because I still think eventually they're going to ban dogs, because dogs are animals. It's as simple as that. But then she makes a reference to the anti-racist evidence report, or anti-racist Wales evidence report. Well, I've looked at this, I've done a video. There's hardly any evidence in there. There's just anecdotal bits of information in there. And then we go down to the bottom paragraph, and this is the order of the letter, is this thing about getting rid of fossil fuel boilers in existing dwellings to the point of replacement. So if you've got oil, gas, wood, or maybe coal, and you're thinking I'll be safe, you won't be safe, I'll tell you that now. So you need to think wider than just I'm okay, Jack. Because their plan is to get rid of it. I've told you this before. Right, that's their plan, to get rid of it. So if you need a new boiler, you say I'll get a new Aga or whatever you've got, I don't know, new second-hand wood-burning stove, they're going to say you can't have it. So where are you going to get the money from to pay for it all? That's the question you need to ask. You're going to have to get a loan, or you're going to have to get a grant, and then you're in debt to somebody. That's how it works. And then we come to 15-minute cities. Now, this is an interesting one, because they're not saying they're not doing them. And it says the aim is to create walkable neighbourhoods, right? And it goes on to say the streets are safe, comfortable, enjoyable to walk and cycle. Now, what you have to do is put look at that slightly differently. So by default they're saying at the moment nowhere is safe to walk, cycle or go about it. Nowhere is safe. So then the question is, well, whose fault is that then? Because I've paid my tax, I've paid everything else for the police to keep it all safe. The council have a job in doing it. I've paid council tax. So what they're saying is they have literally, and the government have been slack and they've let disorder take place. Now, of course, there's no planning there, is there, to make sure they're gonna deal with the current issues. So it doesn't make any sense, any of this, but I have asked a question now to show me where all the evidence is to say that we're having to do this to get them safe again. Because if you think about it, it doesn't make any sense. And then of course, we've got this, and the top one is that Rebecca Evans says the Welsh Government has no plans to introduce user charging on the road. Right, quote unquote. Now then, but you can see, and I've covered this in one of my budget videos, trunk road and charging schemes. Right, so I've had the First Minister being untruthful by saying we need more committee meetings. I had the civil servant saying what I read was wrong, and now I've got Rebecca Evans saying something which clearly is contradictory to the evidence. You couldn't make it up, could you? You seriously could not make it up. So, they've still not answered my big question, which is what you're going to do with us all. I'll put the letter at the end. What I sent, should I say. You can read that, have a look, and then go back through the slides and see what you think. I haven't put her full letter up, or her full response to me, because you'll get bored and it takes so much time up on the time limit I have on videos. Right, thank you for watching, comrades. Keep up the good fight, and catch you on the other side. Thank you.